Okay, no worries.
Hi, Dr. Raymond, how are you? Open the, you're muted, I think. I think you're still muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I just want a permission to share my screen, please.
You have
So
it.
let's get started. First of all, thank you everyone for joining and thanks for your interest in attending this session. You will get like a lot of very nice information and valuable information as well. Um, I'll give you a brief about SPAN. SPAN stands for Senior Professional Startup Network for Engineering and Architects. So SPAN mainly dedicated for supporting newcomer engineers or architects to join the Canadian market, find a job, and all the support to get their journey to join the market smoothly. And even for people who are still working and they want to have more development in their career, so we are already there as well. We have our speaker, Raymond Fraig. Raymond Fraig has his Ph.D. in project management, and also he's a risk manager in ONXPRESS Transportation Partners for Go Rail expansion project, and also for he is a professional engineer in Ontario and former elected board member, Supreme Council for Egyptian Engineers Syndicate, and also he is an assistant professor of project construction management, project management trainer as well. He has more than 20 years of experience in North America and the Middle East. So, Raymond, it's really nice to have you here, and I hope that everyone will be enjoying this important seminar. So, please go ahead. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Hazem, for this intro. Thank you, everybody, for attending our lecture today. Our lecture today is just a simple intro to the risk management framework in our engineering projects, regardless which industry we are. This can be applicable to construction engineering, to telecommunication, to oil and gas, and many other disciplines. What we will have today, we will start with an introduction to risk and risk management in engineering projects, the definition of a project risk, how can we catch a project risk, and the purpose and definition of the risk management tool in our projects. Then we will discuss the main categories and sources of risk in our engineering projects. Then we will explain the risk management framework. It's simply like 5 or 6 steps that each one can follow in managing their project risks. Then at the end, we will have an open discussion together. If anyone need to ask a question, I will be happy to answer if I can. What is the purpose of engineering project? Is some work to meet the stakeholders' requirement based on the nature of the project. The main 3 things that should be achieved in the project is to meet the schedule objective, the budget objective, and the quality objectives. But not every time things go as we want it to go. Sometimes we have failure in achieving these objectives, and this failure is simply because we failed in managing or dealing with the project risks in our project. What is a project risk? Simply, a project risk is an uncertain event that could have a positive or negative effect on your project. Many of our colleagues imagine that risks are only having negative impact on our projects, which is not true. The uncertain effect may be good for my project. It can increase my cost saving, help me to save in my budget, or shorten the schedule duration so I can finish or complete my project earlier, or the reverse, that it can cause delay or cost overrun in my project. This means that since the risk is an uncertain effect, uncertain event, so it's not 100% probable to happen. It is just having a probability between 1% to 99% that the event could occur. Why it is not from 0 to 100? Simply because if there is a 0 chance of an event occurring in a project, so there is no risk. There is no risk threatening my project objectives. And also, if there is a 100% chance of an event occurring, so this is a fact that should be 100% added to my project scope. We used to call risks with negative consequences as threats, and those with positive consequences are called opportunities. So we have 2 types of risks: positive risk, opportunity. We need to make the highest benefit of this opportunity if it happens. And for the threat, I need to mitigate or avoid having those threats in my project. The project risk management is one of the main and most important functions in the project management nowadays. The main goal of risk management is proactively. Proactively means that I start risk management before the risk might occur. The main goal of risk management is proactively managing project risks to enhance the opportunities as much as I can and reduce the threats to optimize the project objectives, including budget, schedule, and quality, and other objectives. Project risk management simply starts with risk management planning. I should put a plan to manage the risks in my project. This plan varies according to the amount of severity of risks the project has. Not all the projects the same. I have low risk projects, I have moderate risk projects, and of course I have high risk projects. Each category of those projects might need a different risk management plan. The second step, to identify the risks. We work together to identify which risks, even threats or opportunities that might face our projects, and then analyze those risks as will be explained later. Then after completing my analysis, I put a response plan to take control of this risk. And after approving this plan, I implement it on the real life project. And finally, I should always be monitoring my risk management and the risk performance on the project. So if it needs any improvement, I go ahead and improve my risk management to attain better results. Going back into my experience, even in academia or in real projects, the most frequent 9 categories that affect our projects are as follows. First one, or first category, it is the external risks. External risks means risks that comes or originated from outside the project culture or the organization performing the project. Like weather conditions. We are here in Canada. We are very knowledgeable of what weather can do with our project progress. Temperature. If you have an experience in any country that has high summer temperature in Middle East or Gulf or whatever, you know what temperature can make in our projects. Plus the floods, earthquakes, wars, revolutions, and anything that is considered under the category of major forces or force majeure. Number two, the design and consultation risks. Every project has designers or consultants that give the technical and knowledge support to the project. There are many risks, like if you are working within the construction engineering, there is a risk of faulty soil assessment. You know, the foundation of a building is the base that the building built over, and if the soil assessment is wrong or faulty, everything next will be catastrophic. There are design changes, even the design change due to the change in mind, the change in requirements, the change in circumstances, the scope creep. What's meant by scope creep? Scope creep, adding work that is not required or budgeted to the work. So if you do or execute this work, you will spend more money, which is against your budget objectives, take more time, which will tend to a delay that is against your uh, schedule objectives, as well as drawings, faulty drawings that is rejected or lead to faulty works that need to be repeated. All these are under the category of design and consultation risks. The third category is the management risk. One of the most important aspects of project success is the good communication among the project stakeholders. If there is a poor communication, so the contractor might not know the requirement of the other stakeholders, and many other examples of poor communication that will lead in many other consequences like delay in approving the submittals, ineffective decision making because we don't know what other stakeholders want us to do, and all that stuff. Number four is construction risks. You know, here in Canada, we have a history of labor shortage and labor mistakes. Maybe somehow the labor shortage make us to hire labor that of lower skill profiles that need to lower quality outputs, lower safety issues, and many other construction risks that are happening during the execution of a project. Many construction companies or many engineering companies or many performing organizations, regardless to the discipline itself, are hiring subcontractors. Subcontractors are not all of them qualified. They may have good profile of equipment, good history of work, but they're having lack of managerial skills. If you are a main contractor or a consulting agency and you have a high profile managerial skills and your subcontractor has low managerial skills, you cannot co-op with each others. Most of subcontractors are not rigid in delivering the requirements or delivering the resources for the work at the right time or the right place. One of the main problems that we face that the right resources are not deliverable on the right time and right place, or maybe are not deliverable within the right condition or quality level that should be accepted. This will lead to project risks. Also, we have the equipment risk. Equipment is the main driver of project productivity. Without equipment, projects are idle. So what are the equipment risks? Accidents. If you have an equipment and you do not execute the proper maintenance for this equipment, it may be idled at any time. The logistics. Some countries have problems in having the spare parts and the maintenance resources for the equipment. Plus the operator competency. You may have a very, very good and up-to-date equipment, but the operator who drives the equipment is not competent. And vice versa. If you have a competent operator and an old equipment or inefficient equipment, you will face a risk. Number 7, the governmental risks or the government-generated risks, like the political instability, corruption, BRIPS. Some governments has a very long procedure to give you a permit to start your project. It's one of the common risks here in Canada. Permits need more and more time compared to any other place. Plus the import restrictions due to any reason, and you are for sure monitoring what is happening now between USA and Canada and all that stuff. There will be import restrictions, and this is a risk that we should all monitor in our projects and put plans to overcome these risks. Number 8, the economical risks, like the fund shortage. You can start a project and you cannot submit the sufficient funding or money to run your project. The inflation. 1 month ago, the US dollar for Canadian dollar was under rate of 1.35, I think. Now it reached 1.45. This is a big number if you have a big project. This is an inflation. The taxation, adding more taxes to your project. The foreign currency procurement. It may be not a risk here in Canada, but in some Middle East countries, there is a big problem in the procurement of foreign currency. Those are generic risks. You can tailor them to the country and the type of project and industry you are working on. Number 9 and last one is owner-generated risk. The owner here is the requiring organization. The project has 3 main stakeholders, which are the owner or the requiring organization, the contractor, which is the performing organization, and the consultant or engineer, which is the consulting organization. What if everything in your project is going well and in the middle of the way, the owner comes to you, oh, sorry, I have a financial problem. I cannot pay now. Or sometimes the owner send to you in the project unqualified representatives that make wrong decisions or ask for improper requirements. This will be translated into risks. Maybe at some times the site possessing risks. If I want to start the work, maybe by the 1st of March, and when I went to deliver my resources, I found that the way to the site is blocked. All these are considered to be main categories of risks, but they are not detailed risks, just to know from where the risks come. This is risk identification is a more advanced process that needs more detail and more knowledge base to start on it. The risk management framework. We have two risk management frameworks that are similar. The first one comes from the PMI, the Project Management Institute. We have a knowledge area in the BIMBO guide called Project Risk Management, and we have also a risk management guide for the PMI RMP certificate. This is the first source of a risk management framework. The other source is ISO 31000 2018 specifications for risk management, and both are guides that you can use them to put a risk management framework for your engineering project. Simply, the risk management framework are 6 steps. Is 6 steps, consists of 6 steps. The first one is planning risk management. The second one is identifying the risks. Then the qualitative risk analysis. Then the quantitative risk analysis, which is 2 internal steps, QSRA, which means quantitative schedule risk analysis, and QCRA, quantitative cost risk analysis. After finishing the analysis, we go to the risk response planning and implementation, then the risk control. We can explain each step step by step in more detail. Step number 1 is to put a risk management plan tailored specially for your project. We always know in project management, plan your work and work your plan. You cannot work without a plan in hand. So the risk management team do and plan risk management for their project. The risk management plan process sets the tone of other risk management processes. We have 5 processes after this one. The risk management plan gives us a guidance and direction how to perform these 5 processes. The risk management plan involves deciding how to work risk management. Who are the involved stakeholders that you might use them in identifying, analyzing, and controlling your risks? What is the proper timing for risk management? Always risk management should be proactive. I should control the risk before the risk controls me. Also, they give you a brief or a detail according to the project for the activities throughout the entire project life cycle and their frequency. The main output document of this first process or first step is a document that is called risk management plan, which is considered to be the guide for the next risk management processes or risk management steps. The second step, which I consider the most important step, and if you perform it right, you will have an easy experience in the following risk management processes, which is identifying the risks. Which risks may face my project, even threats or opportunities? The identify risk process is the process of determining which risks may affect the project and documenting their characteristics. First of all, what if there is a risk and it does not affect my project, so it cannot be considered a risk. The risk, the identified risk, must have an effect on one or more of the project objectives. The key benefits of this process is the documentation of existing risks. Instead of talking about risks, no, I will document these existing risks. And the important knowledge for those risks. The most popular way to document risk is called CRA format. C stands for the cause. I should identify the root cause that may lead the risk to occur. This is C. What about the R? The R is the risk event itself, describing if the risk materializes, how should be the scene. And finally, the effect. If the risk materializes, what will be the effect on cost and what will be the effect on time? So each risk should be documented clearly using the CRE format. Why I document the risks? In order to provide knowledge and ability to the project team to anticipate the events and deal with it. So I have the project management plan from the first step. Now, what is my main output? My main output is the risk register, where I document every single detail about every risk, even it is an opportunity or a threat. Okay. I have a very long list of identified risks after this process. What will be done next? Qualitative risk analysis. What is the purpose of qualitative risk analysis? For example, in one of my projects, we identified more than 1,000 risks. Do you think all those risks are important? Of course, no. Should I put a risk response strategy or a risk response plan to every single risk? No. Work smart. How should I work smart? I just need only to pick the top risks that really warrant a response. So, by experience and by practice, we found that only 20% of the identified risks are considered to be top risks that need a response. 20% only. So I should make a prioritization and shortlisting for my very long list to make my team focus on the most important project risks. This is the aim or the objective of our third step, which is qualitative risk analysis, to differentiate between top risks and non-top risks. It is the process of prioritizing risks for further analysis and action. How? By assessing two important numbers for each risk. The first one is the probability of occurrence. One risk is just considered to be 10% probable to happen. And the other risk is very high probability risk, like 80%. Are those the same? Of course not. What is the second thing? The impact. For example, a risk may delay the project by 1 day, very low impact. Another one will delay the project by 5 days, moderate impact. Another one may delay the project by 30 days, so it is a high impact risk. And the same in the cost. A risk may cause cost overrun of $5,000. Another one, $20,000. Another one, $50,000. They are not the same. So we are prioritizing risks based on their probability of occurrence and impact. The higher the probability and the higher the impact, the more important is the risk. The key benefit of this process is that it enables project managers and teams to reduce the level of uncertainty, the level of risks, and to focus only on what? On high priority risks. The main output of this process is a short list of risks, 20% to 25% maximum of the identified risks. So how we do it? An example of the tools that is used now to determine the category of risk is the probability and impact matrix. For example, say we have risk that is called risk number A. The probability of risk number A is high probability, which is equivalent to 0.7. What about the impact? We will say that this impact is very high impact, 0.8. If you multiply 0.7 times 0.8, what will we find? It is 0.56. Any risk, sorry, I forgot to tell you, we have now a rule that called risk score is the probability times impact. So the risk score in our case is 0.7 times 0.8, which is 0.56. Any risk score that fill in the blue area is considered to be high risk. That must be treated and must have a response plan. So another risk, for example, we have a probability, a very low probability. I want to change the color. A very low probability, like 0.3. And a high impact, let's say 0.4. What is the risk score? It will be 0.12. It is in the white area, so it can be categorized as moderate risk. And for example, if we have also very low probability and low impact, for example, 0.1 times 0.3, it will end up to a low risk. So risks or risk scores in the blue area is considered as top risks. 100% I should put a risk response for them. Risks in the gray area are low risks. I should neglect them. So the question here, what should I do with those moderate risks in the white areas? This is up to the discretion of project stakeholders. But I'm 100% sure that high risks or top risks should have a response, low risks should be neglected. This is simply the idea of using the probability and impact metrics to do qualitative risk analysis for risks. The same for opportunities. We have a side for opportunities, positive risks, and a side for threats. Okay, we have now the short list with the most important 20% risks. What should we do? We should answer the question, how much this risk cost us to be mitigated and how much time we need to mitigate or to take control of this risk. So we need to know two figures, amount of cost or amount of money and amount of time to respond to this risk. This is the objective of the quantitative risk analysis, which is step number 4. A quantitative risk analysis is the process of numerically analyzing the effect of identified risks on overall project objectives. You know, for each risk, for example, if I have a risk, for example, the probability of this risk is 5%. This is a probability. A probability of a delay. Delay, it's a bad effect, so this is a threat in receiving parts with a cost to the project of $75,000. I have a probability 5%, okay? And the impact is $75,000. How much money should I put aside to deal with this risk? It is very easy. Probability times cost impact. So I should put for this risk $3,750. This is called cost contingency reserve. Cost contingency reserve. Okay, so what about risk number two? Let's see. Risk number two have a very high probability. It's 55% probability that the parts will be $60,000 cheaper. What's meant by cheaper? Opportunity, because I will have cost saving. So in this case, the calculation of the risk contingency reserve is 0.55 times 6,000. It will be minus 33,000 because it will save money for the project, so it can take negative sign. We do all of this for all risks, the threats with positive sign and the opportunities for negative sign, and we add them and we find a figure. This figure is the total cost contingency reserve for the project, the total money I need to deal with risks in my project. What should I do with this number? If the base cost estimate of my project is $1 million, so I add $45,700 to deal with risks and to uh, modify or adjust my budget for this reason. This is happening for the cost, and the same is happening for the time effect in the project. So this is a small example, but we in the real life we do not do like this. We use more efficient software programs like Safran Risks, like Primavera Risk, and like Crystal Ball. Those are the most popular risk analysis tools that are being used in our project. So the key benefit of this process is that it produces quantitative risk information, quantity of money, quantity of time, to support decision making in order to reduce project uncertainty. The main output is TCR, time contingency reserve, and CCR, cost contingency reserve. After analysis, what will be happening? We have now a budget and a duration assigned for each risk. I should put a response that will take no longer time than the time contingency reserve and no more budget than the cost contingency reserve. This is called risk response planning and implementation. We put a risk response plan for each specific risk within the budget and duration allowance that I have from the quantitative analysis. It is a process of developing options and actions to enhance the opportunities and reduce the project threats so we can achieve the project objectives. The key benefit of this process is that it addresses each risk by their priority. We start first by the highest risk scores. inserting resources. The risk response is a complete activity that have human resources, equipment, and materials, and every requirement that is for another project activity. So we insert these activities in the budget and the schedule and the project management plan as needed, so we can be updated to deal with risks. The main output of this process is the risk response plans that are added to the risk register. So after implementation or during the implementation, we need to check which risk response strategy is the better. For threats, we have like 5 options for risk response strategies. Number 1 is called escalate. If I'm a project manager and the risk response is exceeding my power or exceeding my authorities, I should escalate it to the senior management in my company. The second option is to avoid the risk. How can I avoid the risk? If I make the probability equal 0, so there is no effect on the project. Or if I make the impact equal 0, so there is no effect on the project. Avoid means eliminating the root cause so the risk cannot occur. So it is not anymore existing. So I changed the risk into a null. Okay. The third one, what if I cannot manage this risk myself? I can pass it to a subcontractor. I can pass it to an insurance company. I can pass it to any third party that is more capable to manage this risk. This is called risk transfer, moving the risk to a group better handled to manage it, for example, using insurance. The fourth option is mitigating the risk. What is meant by mitigating the risk? To lower the probability and or the impact of this threat so it can be existing but in a weak mood. Better than nothing.
ماما هي حطت ايه؟
Escalate, please make sure that your phones are not opening. Please. Escalate, avoid, transfer, mitigate are called the proactive strategies because we do them before the risk occurs. But the last one is accept. When we cannot find any way to escalate, avoid, transfer, or mitigate the risk, we can accept it. That we can taking no action, but creating a contingency reserve to fix the problem after the risk materialize. For the opportunities, we have 5 options. Even if the opportunity make a decision from a higher level organizational department or entity, so I should escalate it. If I can, I will exploit the opportunity. What is meant by exploiting the opportunity is increasing the probability of occurrence to 100%. So I turn the opportunity from a risk to a fact, ensuring the opportunity is realized and definitely happens so I can make the maximum from having it. Okay, that's good. What if I cannot do this myself, but I have one of my friends or one of the other companies are more capable to catch the opportunity? Okay, come, my friend, have a joint venture or a partnership with me so we can benefit together better than not benefiting anymore from this opportunity. Transferring to a third party or a group to ensure value is captured. Take care. Transfer and share are the same idea. They are all procurement or external contracting. This in terms of threats and this in terms of opportunities. The fourth option is to enhance, increasing the probability or the impact of the opportunity. It may not reach 100%, but we can capitalize or maximize the benefit from it. Okay. Escalate, exploit, share, enhance are all 4 proactive strategies. Accept is a reactive strategy, the same way as accept in threats. If the opportunity happens, we will be happy to benefit from it, but we will not take any action to catch or to benefit from the opportunity. They are leaving it to luck. Okay, we choose our risk response strategy that suits our risk and go ahead to implement this strategy. Finally, the risk control. I need to make sure that the risk response plans are effective. So this is the process of implementing risk response plans and tracking the identified risks and monitoring if there is a residual risk that is residing in the project after the response. And maybe we have new risks that come up to the scene after performing the risk responses that are called secondary risks. And finally, evaluating the risk process effectiveness to create lessons learned and to update our risk management plan for the current and future projects. The key benefit of this process is that it improves efficiency of the risk approach throughout the project life cycle to continuously optimize and update the risk responses. The final output after finishing the risk control is the risk report that reflects the current risk situation and achievement of risk management through the project. This was a brief on the risk management framework in our projects. And I would like to thank you for your time today. And if someone have any question, please type it on the chat box so I can answer you. Please feel free to write down any question. Can you tell us about the risk prop software? I don't understand what's meant by prop. If you can more explain, I can answer you. Dr. Ashraf Salim, thank you. Dr. Ashraf is one of the famous and talented risk leads in Canada and the Middle East. Thank you for being here. The probability. Risk probability. No, it's not a risk probability software. It is a risk analysis software that uses the probability and impact inputted by the project stakeholders to analyze the risk. Engineer Ayman Fahim, thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Engineer Tariq. Basim Al-Aqad, can I talk? I am not sure if I have the authority to open mic for.
I'm open already.
Yeah, okay. Hi, Basim, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, بخير. So my question is that the table which he shows the risk probability.
The probability and impact matrix.
Yes. So from where we can get these numbers?
These numbers are created on a case-by-case basis according to the severity of the project, the importance of the project, the experience of the project team, and many other factors. This is an example, an illustrative example, but we cannot use it without tailoring in our projects. In some projects, they consider 71% to 90 as very high. Other projects can consider 60 to 90 is very high.
So from where I get the benchmark for for certain
From your risk management experts, from your lessons learned from previous projects, and from the company history.
And what is the software you mentioned?
Now we have three software that are popular, like Safran Risk and Primavera Risk and Crystal Ball.
Any of those are freeware. I can download it and test. All paid.
They are all paid, but some people can unethically provide them, but
No,
it's
no,
an
no.
unethical thing. Yeah.
Thank you. That's all. Thank you very much.
I have something for you. You can request a trial version of Safran from the developers for 30 days for free.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Can you type Safran on the message, please?
Okay.
Good afternoon, Raymond.
Just a moment, please. Asim, thank you, Asim. Thank you, Mariam Matta. Azam, thank you very much for this presentation. Could you please share your experience about project risk management in Canada? I can share it, but I believe it need another session, maybe later, but I can share it with you with the limitations I have because, the risk manager is like the family doctor and the lawyer cannot cannot explain or express some details in the work. Some of our colleagues was talking.
Cliff had a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Cliff?
Yes,
Oh,
go
yes.
ahead, please.
Oh, thank you. Yes, on the where it comes to evaluate on the quantitative risk, how do we come with the amount, the first amount, which has to be like the impact? How do we come with that amount?
We can come with that during risk analysis workshops. We get stakeholders from different disciplines like design, like construction, like planning, like contracts, external and internal stakeholders. We explain to them the situation and we get from their experiences and the objectives the quantification of the risk probability, the impact on cost, and the impact on time. And we can discuss more and more and more if there is, you say, for example, my friend Clef, you say this project this risk has an impact of $10,000. I say it is for $20,000. We can discuss together so we can come up to something that is in between us and we take voting on it and so forth until it is progressively elaborated to have the inputs that we have.
Okay, but
Accordingly,
there is no other way than passing by subject matter expert. There is no other way like parameters or
at the
mathematical
beginning of
that
the
you can
project,
bring
we
it up.
prefer to have face-to-face meetings. After this, we can have passing like Excel sheets to the stakeholders so they can add their inputs, and then we can take the average or the qualified impact. By the way, not all the stakeholders are knowledgeable of risk management, but they are subject matter expert and should be respected. So you have to explain for them what is the purpose of risk management, the mechanism of the analysis, to draw from them the most accurate inputs that you can use in your quantitative analysis. And also remember that assessing the quality of inputs is very, very important to have quality results afterwards.
Okay, thank
Thank you.
Yes.
Bassem, thanks a lot. Would you please tell us example of a positive risk and how it would be identified as a risk? Okay. The most popular positive risk or an opportunity is that there is a new technology or new resource that may, if it is used, that may save time and cost for the project. Okay, this is an opportunity. If I went to buy this new equipment or this new software, so it is 100% with me. So I exploited the opportunity. It is 100% with me. Okay. If I cannot buy it, but Clef have in his company this new technology. I can share the opportunity with him. Come, Clef, let's have a joint venture or a partnership so we can both benefit. Okay. Another opportunity in construction. If I have a very large piece of land that is adjacent to my construction site and it is for free, so I can procure very large amount of resources, e.g. material, and put them in the site. What is the benefit of this? Number one, I can have a very good offer from the material provider because I'm buying a big bunch of this material. Number two, there is no risk of delays because the material is in my site under my control. This is another example. Shakib, thank you. Have agreed to 10. You too. Yazan Hadadin, at what stage of a project risk report is issued? In every stage. The risk report is a dynamic document that is updated after each update or each major change in the risk management approach. Also, how often it is updated based on the severity of the risk exposure of the project. If it is a high risk project, like my project now, it should be updated on a monthly basis. Is the performing organization responsible for issuing their report? Yes, because there are supervening risks or shared risks that should be handled or controlled by both the performing and the requiring organization. What if it is rejected by the owner or client representative? We should study or know what are the reasons for rejection and try to explain our point of view or to change the items that was rejected. CRE rejects for stands for cause, which is the root cause of the project risk, and the risk event itself, description of the risk event, and E for the effect even on cost or on time. Okay, I believe those are all the questions. Thank you, Engineer Yazan. Thank you, everyone, for attending the seminar today and wishing to meet you later or sooner in other seminars or professional meetings. Thank you, Engineer Hazem Yahya, for organizing this event. Thank you, SPAN EA, for hosting this event. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for being here, Doctor. And this is being recorded and will be posted on our website for anybody who misses it or would like.
With pleasure. With pleasure.
Thank you so much.
And I would like to connect with all of you, my colleagues. My LinkedIn profile is Raymond Fraig. I know some of you are my connections on LinkedIn, and I will happy to connect with you on LinkedIn for any further discussions or cooperation. Thank you very much, and have a great weekend.
Can you put it on the chat, please?
Yes, I already put it.
He puts his name. You can do a search in LinkedIn.
Yeah. I believe I'm the only Raymond Fraig. There is no one with this name.
Yeah, and please try and visit our website and try to look for upcoming events. It would be great to network with everyone and meet in person. So we have an upcoming event soon in end of February. Just keep checking our website and hopefully we all meet in person as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.